So it's been about a year since the Kickstarter ended, and I wanted to show you people what we've been doing, in that time. So first off, I guess elephant in the room is, according to our Kickstarter, the game was supposed to come out like 3 months ago, right? And obviously, it didn't come out at all. And we've talked about that on the Kickstarter, but if you haven't heard anything at all, essentially what we did is we rebuilt Starmancer almost entirely from the ground up, and we did that because the version of Starmancer that you ran with the in the demo, it was okay. Like, it wasn't objectively all that terrible, but it really wasn't that extendable. If we wanted to add nuance or complexity to the features, it would have been incredibly difficult. Like, for instance, if we wanted to make a slightly different colonist, like a pirate, for instance, or if we wanted to add a colonist who, like one colonist, maybe if we wanted one colonist who likes red floors and another colonist who likes blue floors, good luck, right? It almost would have been impossible for us. And I covered that sort of extensively in some posts, and you can look it up. But the brief notes of it are that the entire game is now sort of component driven, and game objects with these sort of game objects, and objects are essentially completely driven by a set of components that we can easily change. And I'll show you real quick. By the way, I don't know how long this video will be. I'm hoping for like 30 minutes or less, but we'll see. Sometimes I ramble. I kind of have like a list of things that I want to talk about, but I don't know, if we'll get to all of them. But I guess I'll show you something. So by the way, we have a main menu now. Since I'm here, I guess we have a main menu. As I press play, we have music now as well. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it though. You can hear that probably. I turned it down so that it wouldn't be like blasting, but I'll turn it up real quick. Here, so you have music, and I don't know if there are sound effects on these buttons. Oh, there are. Oops, I resumed. Didn't mean to do that. By the way, there's a resume button now. I'm going to mute the audio though, because I just feel like it's going to get annoying. Open scene. Let's go to Tyler's scene. That's my scene, by the way. It's a pretty cool scene. So if you look at like a toilet, for instance, the toilet is a game object named toilet, and it just has all these components on it, right? So it has a placeable component, selectable component, whatever. And what these components do is they essentially describe what it means to be a toilet. So there's no longer any like toilet. There's no longer any code that just says like toilet.cs. It doesn't exist. Instead, there's just a set of components that, when put together, control every aspect of what it is to be a toilet. And so what you traditionally think of being a toilet is it's mountable, so you can sit on it. Plays an animation when you sit on it. And this was, okay, so actually there's literally something called toilet component if I were to click on it. Right, and it looks like this, and what it does is when you mount, by the way, I don't know if you've seen any code before on this, but anyway, so what you do is I'm subscribing to the on-mounted event, and if the colonist mounts it for the reason of urinating, then it adds the urinate component, and that I'm sure does other stuff as well, whatever it does. And then ideally when it's dismounted, it would remove that. Does it? I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't. Oh, I think it handles that. Okay, I think it handles it automatically, so we're fine. Okay, and then there's like some other object use state that does. So it's like what it means to use a toilet. So it mounts it, pees, waits until he's done peeing, and he deposits internal items. In this case, it would be the water, right? And then he dismounts and it succeeds. So that's okay. I'll keep this over here actually. But besides that, there's not really like just a toilet thing. Like you saw, there was really just that class just had two events it was subscribing to. And then components use events to communicate with each other. And so there's some other event, there's some other component that's in charge of like, calling these events probably. And so this component at least, it doesn't care how it gets mounted. It doesn't care what this thing even is. You could put this component on anything. You could put it on a colonist. You could put it on a plant. You could put it on a wall. Like, I don't know what it would mean on all those things. And, maybe, you couldn't put it on literally every single thing and expect it to work. But in general, it would be incredibly easy. Like I talked about adding nuance to things and some variety. Like, it would be incredibly easy to make a brand new toilet in this system. That, I don't know. What is this one? So it sounds like this water thing. It's connected to probably a dirty water grid. So it'd be incredibly easy to remove those components and have a toilet that doesn't get hooked up to the water recycler, right? Like maybe it's just a hole in the ground and it just vents the urine to space, right? That would be very easy to do. And in the old system, it would have been it would have been awful. It would have been something that would have taken considerably longer in the old system, I would say. Still doable, but in this new system, I mean, I could literally right now, I could just remove this, right? I could just, well, it wouldn't let me because of the, I could literally just find this and just delete it, right? Now it's gone. And now I have a toilet that no longer connects to the water pipes, right? So that essentially is what we've been doing for the last year. That's what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to make a stable and expandable foundation. We want, I guess my goal at least, is sort of like when Starmancer releases eventually, I want everyone to think like, wow, like this is a nice solid, this is a nice solid set of like sort of stable experience. And I want you to sort of wish that there was more content, but we'll add more content. But I'm really concerned about is just making sure that everything works well, that it does what it does well, right? I don't want to do a lot of things mediocrely. I want it to do whatever it does, really at a decent enough level before we add more features. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. And something to think about too is if we had released Starmancer with the old engine, the old system, and 3 months ago, and it was just kind of okay or just mediocre, you probably would have forgotten about it by now, quite honestly. And just sort of think about that. So you might be upset and you wish that you could play right now. And I mean, objectively, of course, I wish you could play right now too. But it's not ready, and we don't want to make a game that you just kind of is just kind of crappy. Like I at least want to support Starmancer for as long as possible. Like I just want to keep adding features to it because I really enjoy making, like complex. I enjoy making needlessly complex systems in games like this. So hopefully. Okay, so the toilet. What else? I just said toilet like 3 times, but whatever. But I'm gonna press play and ignore these warnings because I don't care about them. So immediately, if you remember the demo had a terrible user interface. And by the way, when we launched our Kickstarter, we had no intention on releasing a demo because like, why would we have a demo? That's stupid. You don't need a demo. And then I don't know, maybe within the first week, we had all these people asking us for a demo, and we realized that first of all, like if we had people who record YouTube videos, they could play our demo and talk about it and that sort of thing, and you'd get more exposure. And so we've really rushed to like put out a demo as fast as possible, and it was just so raw and dirty. But now we have a brand new user interface system, so you have like this little HUD thing up here with the current time, and that's the date, and you can pause the game, and you can bring up an escape menu, and it does escape menu sort of stuff. And then for building, we have this new menu here with all these nice little tooltips. You can click on this to go to a bunch of different options for things. And you have these tabs down here. Let's see. There's a summary window here, and you can mouse over stuff and you get like a view of like, hey, what is that? You can expand it, and there's like an expanded summary. And depending on the object, it'll show you different things. So for the water recycler, it shows you dirty water becomes clean water, and then it has a passive power requirement. And then you can mouse over some of these things. By the way, there's 2 systems for the UI, and so eventually you'll be able to mouse over this, but it's not a sort of thing that I'm gonna like hold off alpha on just so you can mouse over this. But I made a new system for consistency for displaying things in the UI and stuff and whatever. But just in case you're wondering, how come I can't mouse over this? That's why. What else we got? I don't know, let me just play something real quick. I play something here. Floors do not need object counts, but there is an object count, so it's, I don't know, like if you want to know how many floors you place, you can see it. Same with objects. If you want to know how many beds do I have, you can sort of see that. Oops, see that ugly thing? Those are access positions, and we have them on for debugging purposes, but I'm about to turn them off because you don't need to see them. Okay, right. So you have like new objects, beds. Oh yeah, we have the new palette colors you can easily change, right from the user interface. And more interestingly than that, I think, is we have this new tool that you can use to change the color of placed objects, which I like it at least. So I can go here, and let's say I want to make something yellow. I can mouse over it, and now it's yellow. And you can also drag, right? And now all these are yellow, which is kind of fun. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I think there's a bug right now too if you like mouse over. And, oh. Well, I thought there was. Well, that's good news. I guess alpha's coming out a day earlier now. Oh, no. That just changed, right? Am I a crazy person? That changed, right? Yeah, why is the bed changing? All right. Okay. I'm not crazy. I'm on a tangent right now. I'll get off of it. Okay. So there's that. Some new delete cursors and stuff like that too. We don't really know where we'll put these things at, but oh yeah, there's a new like visual when you select something, so now it changes colors and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, we have a new window system as well. So if you click on an object like the wooden bed, and the bed is the most boring object. I don't know why I am using this as an example, but it has the description and you can set an owner, but there are no columns placed right now, so you can't set an owner. I'll just place the columns real quick. Plus, hey, that shouldn't be there. What's that? You know what that looks like? It's minimized, but the thing's still there. So we got a little columnist here whose name is Dimple Daniel, which is kind of funny. And like inventory slots, tells you what he's doing. I don't think he's actually doing anything. You can see his needs, and those are going down at kind of fast actually. Let's see if he sleeps. You can select a job for the colonist. So if you want him to be like so right now his color is gray. So let's say I select a job for him, and I make him a laborer. He should turn blue, which he does. You can also select multiple jobs. So if you wanted someone to be a laborer and a mechanic, he should be blue still. Oh, it's a bug. Don't worry about it. But you can assign multiple jobs, and they prioritize the job. So the first job they'll do, like if there's something that needs done the first job, they'll do that. Otherwise, they try other jobs, right? So I'm going to move this up because it made more sense. No, look at that. That's what's happened. Doesn't matter. What I'm talking about, by the way, is laborers are blue, and it's because the laborer is his first job or second job. He should not be blue. He should be red, but that doesn't matter. But like if you had two jobs on a colonist, he'll try to do his first job first. So like in the case of a mechanic, if something was broken, he would attempt to be a mechanic first. And then if nothing was broken, he would move boxes and that sort of thing. Did he just sleep there? He did. Why did he sleep there? He should have slept in this perfectly nice bed. Well, that's whatever. Doesn't matter. But on the plus side, colonists can sleep on chairs now, so that's a thing. Let's see. And now while I'm on the subject of, not on the subject at all, what else is new? We recently added the mining probe, which is kind of cool. And I think right now it's a dev thing. It's a little probe doc. Looks like this guy. I think, by the way, actually, I'll do two. Is I'll sort of show you what it looks like, what building looks like, real quick. I'm going to place a Starmancer core. And then I'm going to turn off some things, like should auto build. And is dev mode active, I guess. And then I'm going to place something else, like I don't know, something interesting. Like a generator. I have no idea if the generator has like the animations yet, so let's find out. And oh, look, it does. That's cool. Okay. And so we have this new thing. Oh, there's a little bit of Z fighting there. The part of the generator needs to get moved up, but you can see we have this new animation for building things. The little guy comes out and builds them, and he does this thing, and he's supposed to deconstruct them too. I don't know if he literally deconstructs the thing. Looks like he is, though. Oh, look at that. That little dude, he's deconstructing it too. Does it go away? Oh, that's cool. Okay, so it works. I should know this, but I don't know. There's a lot of little things that Evan does something, I do something, and I don't know literally every single little thing. So that's cool. Oh yeah, I was gonna do something with the mining probe. I don't really know if the mining probe can be constructed. It should be, but I don't know. So I'm just going to place it. There's a little mining probe. I think dev mode is, nope, it's not. I turned it off. Okay. So he shouldn't fly away right away, right? Because if I click on him, he needs fuel, and he'll come back with ore and ice, and he has no fuel. So if I give him fuel by cheating here, probe doc, all component data, debug item creator, all data, add fuel. God dang it. I gotta go all the way. I gotta type in fuel. I don't know if I need to do any of these things here. Fuel. If I give him fuel, he should fly away. Okay, he flew away because I gave him fuel. And then I'm just going to wait for him to come back. I don't know how long it's going to take. Okay, and he came back with 2 boxes of ore. And you can see it in the menu here. 2 boxes of ore. And that's cool. Oh, by the way, we also reduced the item count so that every box that you see holds exactly 1 item. And before they used to hold 100 items. And so we just kind of want to simplify sort of like what you see is what you get, sort of thing. So there's that. I think I showed you this. Oh yeah, you can save the game now too. But I'm pretty sure if I save the game right now, because I assigned the colonist jobs, it won't correctly work. Let's find out. I don't think it will though. I'm pretty sure. Please work. Please work. It did not. Because it unexpected subtype. Oops. I broke it. By the way, there's certain like degrees of bugs that that are currently like stopping us from releasing alpha. So one of those is that, for instance, you can't save the game right now if a colonist has been assigned a job. And there's other bugs that I don't care as much about. Like for instance, there was a bug with the bed was given a color or something like that before you actually left clicked. Who cares, right? Like that's not the sort of thing that I'm going to hold alpha back for. But we do, for us, we prioritize fixing bugs over like everything else because we want to make sure everything completely works before we move on to the next thing, because we don't want to make like a half finished mess. Like our goal is we want to make whatever features are in the game, we want to make sure they work well. And we would rather have a small amount of really good features than to have a bunch of crappy features. Because we can add we can add new features over time and then eventually it'll get better. But we want a good solid foundation first. Another bug, by the way, too, is right now when you place an air duct, if you place a wire next to it, it'll think that wire is an air duct as well, and then it will potentially stop being an exit vent for your oxygen machine, and so that's bad, right? What else can I show you? Let's see. Let me build a generator or something. Here, so there's like this production tab. But right now, the generator doesn't require fuel, but if it did require fuel, it would say fuel right there. It would say fuel yields. Power, but it doesn't. So let me go to the ore refinery. By the way, the reason it doesn't right now is because it'd be really annoying for me to have to like keep this thing stocked all the time. Go to production, and ore yields this stuff. And by the way, because all of this like dev mode crap is on, everything's kind of like freaking out. Not freaking out, but it's just like auto, like it's considering itself stocked. It's considering itself ready to go, because it would be really it would take forever when we were testing if we had to like spawn a colonist and then have them deliver crap. But now it's off, so hopefully. Yeah, okay, now it's not doing anything, right? And if I turn him offline, his power requirement should go to 0. And I did, look at that. That's okay. I was more excited than I should have been. I was like, oh, it worked, cool. But it did. You can see like the terminal turned offline, so there's all these little things that we did. And I think that's about it. I mean, obviously, there's lots of little things, a lot of little objects. There's not that much new stuff. We have like the foundation tool, but we had that before. You can save. Oh, let's see if you can save the game now. I placed a few random things and item producers. Item producer requirement item component. So we're using the thing that we're using to save. I have to explicitly set all the classes and stuff that can be saved and all these subtypes and stuff like that. And so when I'm making that work, what I have to do is just sort of basically place a bunch of stuff and see if it correctly saves. But let me just, to show that okay, saving does in fact work, let me place like floors. Floor should work, right? Please work. Please work. Okay, so that correctly saved, and then I'm gonna relaunch it and load it so you can see that it's it's loading. Because otherwise, if I press load, it would just show you exactly what you just saw. What was it, like 13 seconds, I think? So if I go to load, please work. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, look at that. So, and then a bunch of warnings that are bad. Okay, warnings are bad, whatever. So what else? Oh, what I never showed you is the XML files used. So I'll show you that real quick. So now what happens in the game is all of this stuff, like this toilet and stuff, all these components are built into an XML file automatically for us, and then that's loaded at runtime. And I'm looking for it real quick for you in my other screen. I'm going to open it, and so you can see what it looks like. So let's see, open this bad boy over here, and I'll open agents.xml, and this is going to take a little bit because it's a big file. And then I might as well open the state library as well. And that's slowly opening, doing its thing, blah, 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 blah. As I wait, Here's this. Here's that. If I'm trying to drag it. Come on, Notepad++. Okay. So I'm going to drag it. And it loads, does its thing. Okay, and then over here too. And it looks like this. So you have all these things. And that guy was called the toilet entity. And so toilet entity, if you were to search for toilet entity, all of these components, all the things on them are described there in toilet entity. And you can see all of his components. You can see his keys object, water object. And then look for stacked agent hider is one. I guess he has a stacked agent hider, so that hides a floor. If it's stacked, if you're stacking an agent on top of another agent and the key is floor, it hides it. And that just looks kind of nicer for the tile sets. So here, okay, so here it is. That's where it stores that floor. And then this is loaded at runtime. And it's incredibly easy for us, for anybody, for modders, or to edit this, to maybe hide not floors. Or to completely remove it too, so you could just remove it like that, and then it's just gone. Then you can resave it, and everything's hunky-dory. And then you see like these record IDs, and these are used for modding. And I guess I'll show you that like pretty soon. And just to demonstrate, by the way, that this is actually loaded at runtime, let me open stacked agent hider component real quick, and do some things. I have some random files that I need to close. Okay. So open up stacked agent hider component, and I'm just going to subscribe to it. By the way, this is how basically this is basically how the meats of everything in the game works, is you subscribe to some events. In this case, I'm going to subscribe to onPlaced, which is called when an object is placed, and there's a bunch of events. There's a lot of them. And then I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a debug message here. If all keys to hide, if I'm going to add a debug message so you can see that it is in fact being loaded at runtime, just so you can say, Tyler, you're the liar. And I can say, no, I'm not. Debug.log, let's do this.agent, and then let's do plus this, all keys to hide 0. Okay, cool. All right, and I'm going to close this, go over here. I'm going to press play, and then hopefully, ideally, did I actually change anything though? Here? Here, okay, let me go here. Let me change this to not floor. Boom, not floor, okay. I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to press play. And then hopefully when I place the toilet, you'll see not floor in the console window. And while I'm talking about too, the nice thing, like the XML editing is really nice for modders, but it's even nicer for us. It's this idea that like, that to make, like I said earlier, a toilet that doesn't connect to something, it doesn't connect to the water recycler. It's so easy for us to do that. Like it's so easy for us to add like these like just oddly specific, nuanced complexity to objects that was so like impossible before. Anyway, so let me place a toilet, and it says not floor. Great, and then it complains because it has no dirty water outlet. And this should go away. I think dev mode's on, so I don't know like if that's going to cause something weird to happen. But it should go away in a second. Yeah, okay. So look, it went away. Wow, cool. And you can even click on it too, and you can see no power, connected to working generator, no clean water outlet, connected to non-full water sink. Okay. Oh yeah, so that's new too on the UIs, those notifications. Because I always hate in these games where you have no idea that you're doing something wrong. You have no idea, and some people just start dying and stuff, and you didn't know you're supposed to connect it and that sort of thing. So we're trying to, we're trying to make this a not painful, painless experience. All right, so modding. Okay, so I already talked about and showed how you can edit this to to make mods. But an issue is that if you edit this file agents.xml and somebody else edits agents.xml, you have a huge chance of having a conflict. And so what we did is we added a system where you can, make your own XML files, and look at that nice little space background. And you can make your own XML files, and I'm going to pull one up on my other screen just so that I can use it for reference. And so let's say that we want to do the same thing again, which was this. What we could do is we're going to copy toilet.entity. I'm going to paste it here for a second, and I'm going to find the thing that I want to edit, and you can kind of see these are like sort of nested. I called sub-records internally, but before we do that, we need to get the name of the thing that we want to edit, which is agents. So it should look like this. Pretty sure. Toilet, 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 blah, 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 blah. And then somewhere down here, I know I need to do this. And then hopefully I don't have too many typos here. I can get rid of this. And all we have to do now is I just need to specify, you know, where in the subrecord lookup I need to go. And so in this case, it should be the component lookup of toilet entity, and then in there, one of the components. And this, by the way, is where the record ID comes in handy. Because what we need to do is we need to find the toilet, and we need to find the specific component that we want to edit. And you need some way to say, hey, I want to edit that specific guy. And with an ID, it makes it really easy. Without an ID, you would have to, I don't know, you could specify like an index. So you could count and say, okay, 0, 1, 2. Okay, boom, I want to get the guy at 2. But the thing about that is you have no guarantee that the record at 2 will always be that one guy. So if we use a unique ID, it's a little bit easier. In this case, it's a GUID, and it's the exact same GUID that the components use internally. So it's pretty much guaranteed to be unique, always, at least for this case. But let me finish this up. So it looks at component lookup and toilet entity. And let's change this from being whatever he was before, something else like Roger Ebert, I guess. And I need to save it somewhere. File, save as. Let me go over here. I'm going to save it in the mods folder, all files. I'm going to change it to, what about like some mod.xml. And then we're going to go over here. I save it to here, by the way. Right here, mods. And you can make your own folder too. So you could make a folder called like our mods, or let's call it Tyler mods. And then you could package all your mods together, and they would just kind of be here, and you would find them all. So that's some mod.xml. And I added some debug statements to our mod loader. So it should say, you should see some mod.xml. And then you should also see Roger Ebert when I place a toilet. So first you should see found XML file, some mods.xml. So that's good. So far, so good. And then if I place a toilet, you should see Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert. Look at that, Roger Ebert. So that's pretty cool. And besides just editing things, you can also remove records as well. I think that no, don't, because I moved it, huh? I was like, I could not process what I was reading. But you can also remove things. I think that the term for that is delete true, maybe something like that. If you wanted to delete a component for some reason, like if you decided that I didn't want this component to be on this agent, I could just delete it. You could do that. Oh, by the way, something I want to stress too is that literally everything in the game is an agent. Even food recipes are agents. Jobs that colonists are assigned are agents. Like if you were to look at like a colonist job, like laborer, it's an agent, and it specifies, you know, all sorts of things. It specifies like the text that you see in the UI, laboriously labors. It shows like the pallet index used, which is 1. Is it? No, it's not. It's 1. Oh, it is 1 in this case. And all that sort of thing. And by the way, for whatever reason, I decided it would be a good idea if you could individually set the palette color on each body part. It's still, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just needlessly complex, but I like needlessly complex. So cancel, please. All right, what else? So there's that modding. Oh yeah, you can mod with C# now. Let me show you. Let me open up my example project, which is not this one, but it's this one over here, my modded component. Okay. So we made a DLL you can import. You import the DLL, and that gives you access to all of our stuff. And so most of our stuff, at least. So you got agent component. And I don't know if I correctly built the DLL with the XML, where you can see the comments, and it looks like I did not. But later you'll be able to see the comments. So you can like overload stuff, like overload unloaded prefab, and it would tell you like, hey, what does that mean? And so it's kind of nice for modding. I also do all this. In this case, what I've done is I've subscribed to a global event on tick. And I think right now on tick it's called every second. And what I've done is I've just gotten a random number, and I'm calling the event on palette index change. So I'm changing the palette index of something to something random every second. And I need to change this namespace from some mode to some mod because I have a typo. And then all you have to do is build your mod with whatever name you want. So I guess it's called my mod, and I'm going to build it, and hopefully it builds correctly. So I'm going to build it. Okay. Now we don't need this anymore. I actually need it for a second because I'm going to need to add that to my mod component like this. Okay. And then we're almost there. We have a DLL. It was built. It should be built over here. Here it is, my mod.dll. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it with the rest of our mods here. I'm just going to put it right there, my mod.dll. And then there's one more thing we have to do, though. We have to specify, that we have to specify that we want that mod to go on something. Because otherwise, we have that new component, but it's not doing anything. So we have to, put where it wants to go. And so in this case, I'll put it on like a floor, maybe a carpet. I need to put it on something that, is palette, that like has a palette. So, so floor carpet variant, I'll put it on. And all I should need to do is this. That's all I should need to do. Like we'll see in a second if that's in fact all I need to do. Here. And then, so it's floor carpet variant. I don't care about the keys. I do care about the component lookup though. I don't care about this. And I could go here like that and floor carpet variant. And then what I need to do is add a new component. And I could give it a record ID of just something, anything I want, something, whatever, something unique, which is probably preferable. But I also added, I think it should append. I'd have to look at the docs. I think it should append. You said that's true. And then it appends instead of overwrite something. Because if you just left it blank, what this will do is it'll overwrite the values of the very first component. Because one of the things is, like, if it reads this file, like, what does it think you meant to do, right? Did you mean to overwrite, or did you mean to append? And so you can explicitly say, oh, I want to append. Okay. And then if you saw, like, over here, there's all these types, types, that tells, like, the code, hey, it's this is the type. And so you have to specify the type here. And the type is, what did I say it was? It should be some mod.myModded component. Although, in this case, because it's defined in a separate assembly, we have to give the fully qualified assembly name. And that should be this. My mod is a mod component. Is that correct? Should be right. And then I go here. Okay, my mod looks like this. You can get your assembly qualified name like in a bunch of different ways. And I might make changes to the modding, so that you don't have to do this. By the way, my view on modding is I want to integrate it with the game as early as possible to work out all the kinks, because I didn't want modding to be an afterthought, because I think that, first of all, Victor and I met because we were working on a Minecraft mod together. And so, I don't know, there's something I like about modding. I like tinkering with stuff. I like adding random complexity to just my own random things selfishly. And so I like modding. Okay, so we did that. Okay, we added the thing. And like I said, you can place the mods anywhere you want, but they have to be in the mods folder. And it'll find it, right? So I put in my mods, and then I'm pretty sure that because I put it in the editor, it's going to try to load it, and I don't want to actually load it. So I'm going to go here and say, no, Unity, don't do it, bro. I'm going to apply. Okay, so now Unity won't load it. Like, it'll be loaded when I press play, but it won't be loaded by Unity. And then what was I expecting? Okay, it was a toilet or something. No, I just have toilet on the brain. How long am I at right now? I'm at 33 minutes, so not bad. I've been trying to talk fast. Okay. And then I found a DLL, my mod, some mod, and it loads it. And then I'm looking for, what was it? A carpet floor. And so what we should see is a pulse, right? Pulse. So I broke it. Why'd I break it? It didn't work correctly. What did I do? Oh, I know what I did here. I didn't give it a record ID. Okay. So we did this. Okay. I broke it, but I think it should work now. I don't know if you can save and load this correctly, though. Probably not. Probably not. Okay, so now look at that. Now it's getting a random color every second, right? So it was relatively, it was relatively simple. I mean, the hard part obviously is you don't know any of these events, and so like there's so many of them. I don't know if I can just click this. I think I can. Yeah, okay. So there's all these events, and you can actually make your own events, because when you call an event, it's literally just a string, and internally, like, this is just kind of converting it to a string, but you could just call my custom event, right? And so you can make a custom event just like that, and then you can just subscribe to my custom event. Only in this case, it's not a global event, so you have to subscribe up here, but that doesn't matter. That's kind of cool. And then you can make, whatever parameter you want to use. This doesn't matter too much, honestly, for anybody, but I just think it's interesting. So you make a parameter, like my parameter. You can pass in a bunch of data. So is this abstract? No, it's not. Okay, cool. And I can pass in data. So I can just, pass in whatever, like some key, and I can give it like any data that I want. So if you want to give it like the value 3 or something like that, and then later someone could some component could do something with it, except if I knew how to type correctly, if I knew how to C# bro, something like that works. And then the last type of modding is adding, what's the term? Asset bundles. You can load asset bundles with Unity. And so let me do that real quick. Let me demonstrate. I'm just going to undo this so that I can look at this later and be like, oh yeah, that's how I make mods again. Because I'm going to forget, I guarantee it. And the last type is asset bundles. So asset bundles, how long is this going to take? I think I have, because I made sure this worked before I ran this video. I have an asset bundle somewhere. You make asset bundles in Unity. It's not like my thing. It's like a Unity thing. Like you go here somewhere. I just saw it. You go to prefab and you go down here and you make it to an asset bundle and you add the asset bundle. I can do it real quick, actually. Let me find this guy. I'll just do it. I have to launch a separate project there real quick, which I named the asset bundle project. And okay, so I have this little asset bundle project, and what I did in this one is I just made a little cube like this, and I put some stuff on it, and I was doing this other thing, but you can go away for now. You don't really matter. And I can get rid of this for now too. And this, what the heck is that? Whoa. Okay. So I have this little cube guy, and I just, I think if I press play, I made like a pull, like just an animation, just to test, like, okay, it does something correctly. Why is it not pulsing in the scene view? Oh, because I'm, okay. All right. So it just does that, right? And then to build it, again, this is just Unity's thing. This is not my thing. You add it to an asset bundle, test bundle like that, and then you assets build. By the way, you have to like add your own code to do this. It used to be like a plugin with Unity, but now you have to like copy and paste some code, and then you'll get that menu button. Then you build the asset bundle. He builds the asset bundle, and that should be added somewhere in Unity. It adds it. Like here's the asset bundle project. Like it adds it somewhere. Did it do it correctly? It should be like asset bundle, assets bundle. Is that it? Is that it? I got it. Okay, test. There it is. Test bundle. Okay. And then you just add that to your mod folder. So I have to navigate to that real quick. Data, mods, Tyler mods. Okay. Then you paste it like that, and then it should load it correctly. Let me make sure though. What was this thing called? I think it's a class called mod loader, and I added a bunch of debug messages for the. Okay, it looks like it's doing it. Okay, all right. So I'm doing right now is I'm iterating through it. I'm just instantiating it, just so you can see that it's actually doing something. So if I press pause, play, it should say found asset bundle, and then it should instantiate the asset bundle that I found. Here, there, and it found it. And then I added it to don't destroy on load because I didn't want this, because the scene changes in a second. I didn't want it to break. See, now it's changed game scene. Okay. And if I were to find it, you can find it. There it is. So that was something that I added after the fact with a mod. So you can do whatever you want with that, which is kind of fun. Also, there's a script too. Internally, all these things, like if I were to go to a toilet, actual toilet, it has an automatic visual component. It has a toilet model, right? But internally in the agents folder, it's not referred to as toilet. It's referred to with, it's like it's in a library somewhere, and there's like this big list of all the game objects in the entire game. And that game object reference is apparently 1252, right? And that library is, I think, here and here. And if you were to go to 1252, it should be the toilet. 1252, 1252, 1252, 1252. Boom, there's toilet. Okay, boom. And then in the mod, you can change this to whatever you want. You can change it to, let me see what some other stuff are. I need something. The table thin, modern 1244. Okay. So you change to this, right? Bam, 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 bam. And then if I were to play the game and place a toilet, it would be placed as a table thin standard. And then I added a script that you can import that will allow you to like overwrite the value of toilet to whatever you want, or to add just entirely new agents to the game, like with entirely new models and that sort of thing. What am I doing? I'm looking for toilet. So toilet should be a bed, right? Should be a bench. Yeah, okay, cool. It's a bench. And then it's complaining because it doesn't have the right animator on it, but whatever. But the point is, you're able to do this, and everything still pretty much worked, except for this. Like, it's complaining that there's no animation events that it's looking for. But besides that, like, everything still works. So that's kind of cool. So that's maybe everything. Let's see. Cool. Okay, and then you guys probably just care about when alpha is. So we don't know. Alpha will probably come out next week or the week after that, something like that. From our point of view, something that we want to do is make sure that the Mac version works and the Linux version works and the PC version works at the same time. I don't know. The way I feel about it is I don't want to shortchange the Linux community or the Mac community and make them wait like an extra week. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I don't know. And then we got to fix like some of those critical bugs, like you can't save if you assign a job to a columnist, that sort of thing. And then we'll be good to go there. I don't know. From my point of view too, there'll be we'll have to spend right now we're spending, let's say 100% of our time on development. Once alpha's out, we'll have to spend, a lot of time, just communicating with people, because you're going to have questions, suggestions, feedback. You're going to find bugs. You're going to have someone report that bug. We're going to have to navigate through all the bug reports and find the duplicates and, and figure them out, figure out the causes, that sort of thing. And so, it's going to take away some of our time from development. And so that's really the only reason that we haven't released alpha yet, because it's not like we can just, we can't just add it to Dropbox, right click it, and just give you a link, to everybody, because first of all anybody could download that link. Second, we'd have to create some sort of system where you can report events and that that sort of thing. And so probably we'll distribute the alpha through Steam for no real reason. It's just kind of like there's a real reason. It's easy for us, it's easy for everybody. You can get updates directly, and then if you don't use Steam, we'll probably just give you a direct download through BackerKit, like a direct link or something, because you can do that as well. But I would just recommend using Steam because it's easier for you. But if you don't want to use Steam, no problem. We'll just give you a direct link to the thing. So that's maybe it. Is there anything exciting that I can still show? Let's see. Cliff notes are you can mod now. Alpha soon. A week or two soon. And I'm just looking at things. Well, that's about. Oh, I know something kind of cool that you don't really care. You're not going to care about this at all, but I think it's really interesting. So with the new system for items, which I love. Okay, items are now, thanks to Evan, as of a year ago or something now. But there's no such thing as like an item anymore. I just think that this is really cool. And what there is instead is there's just simply attributes that you place on things. And again, I think this is really cool, but you probably don't really care. But so like ore, for instance, it just has the ore attribute on it. How about water? Water's a good one. Let's find a water. Item water. Okay. Item water. Dirty. Yeah. And dirty cup too. Okay. This is really cool too. So it's not, okay, it's cool to me. But so water just has a water dirty attribute on it. That's it. Okay. And then this water cup has water cup, and it's a food dish. Okay. And then something else like, soup too. This is, again, not the most exciting thing, but to me it is. So soup, for instance. Okay, soup is biomass. Oh, this is a great example. So soup is biomassable. Let's find the food recycler, right? Yeah, this is a really good example. Okay. I'm more excited about this than I've been about anything else that I've talked about so far. But so this is what I mean. This is I love making these abstract, complex systems, and it's just, to me, it's fun. So, okay, this thing is a producer, and I'm looking for its recipe real quick, so I'm going to go fast real. Okay, okay. All right, so if you look at the food recycler recipe, and again, this is an agent. It has a requirement, and it requires biomassable. It doesn't require, before, it also doesn't, it would require, like, you have to type in, like, wheat, right? You have to, like, say, okay, I want to take wheat, I want to say this, right? And that was kind of a pain in the butt. But now, you don't. Now, literally, all you do is just put biomassable, and if it has a biomassable thing on it, it can go in the food recycler. It's that simple. It is, it doesn't sound that cool, right? But it is so interesting. And you can even add these attributes at runtime, which is by the way how Colonist carrying stuff works. Is we add an attribute called, I think, like carried or something like that, being carried, right? And that's the differentiate between something in a Colonist like in their like backpack versus in their hands. But we just had the being carried attribute, and so that's just something that's sort of, I think, interesting, and you probably don't, but that wasn't, I didn't even write that down. I just thought about items and I just want to talk about it. Okay. Anyway, so alpha's coming soon. Thanks for watching this. By the way, you should check the, you should join Discord. If you're not on Discord, Discord's kind of cool. You can talk to us. That's fun. You can meme it up. You can talk about, Mr. Good Old Lop Booty Wizard. By the way, Lop is best 2019.